The Curse of Oak Island team has discovered evidence that proves people once lived on the island. Rick and Marty Lagena, along with their team, have been exploring the swamp, a triangular-shaped area that has consistently provided them with fascinating finds. The swamp is believed to hold connections to the money pit, potentially linking past excavation attempts and structures designed to conceal something of value. The team's first task was to investigate a stone walkway in the southeast corner of the swamp, which is an intentionally constructed feature. The angular placement of the stones, their alignment, and their origin suggest they were brought here for a specific purpose. Some of the rocks are similar in size and shape to those forming the famous Nolan's Cross, which is a megalithic cross discovered in 1981 by the late Fred Nolan. The team noted how some of the stones appear to come from deep underground, not the nearby beach. They speculated that these stones were likely extracted during previous excavation efforts, possibly related to the money pit, and then placed in the swamp. If this is true, it suggests the swamp might not be natural at all. They scattered across Europe, and some theories suggest they ventured even further. Nova Scotia, with its remote location and rugged terrain, would have been an ideal hiding spot. Chris emphasized that the arrangement of the stones carried symbolic meaning. The cross itself was a powerful symbol for the Templars, representing their faith and mission. By embedding this symbol into the landscape of Oak Island, they ensured that their presence and secrets would be remembered. To test the theory, Rick and Marty decided to bring in Steve Guptill, their trusted surveyor. If the alignment was as precise as Chris claimed, Steve's measurements would confirm it. The team reflected on the significance of the cross, as it was a link to the past and a tangible connection to a story that had spanned centuries. While the survey continued, the team could not ignore the broader implications of Chris's work. If the Templars had indeed hidden treasures on Oak Island, it would rewrite history as they knew it. The idea that a medieval order had crossed the Atlantic and left its mark on this remote island was both thrilling and humbling. The team delved into the swamp, where they discovered a massive tree stump buried deep in the muck. This discovery led to the idea that the swamp was not a swamp, but had been forested and later manipulated into its current state. The stump showed signs of being cut with tools, possibly an axe, which opened a floodgate of theories. The absence of related logs nearby was puzzling, as it suggested someone had taken the wood to construct the wooden platforms found in the money pit decades ago. Those platforms, made of rounded logs, were discovered almost 2 centuries earlier and were thought to be part of a design to safeguard the treasure from flooding. If this stump was connected to that work, it would add a new layer to the swamp's significance. The swamp had always been a mystery in itself, with uncovered stone walkways and unusual rock formations there, suggesting significant human activity. The discovery of a second stump reinforced the idea that this was not just a natural feature, but part of a broader, deliberate design. If they could date the stump accurately, it might reveal when the swamp was created or manipulated by human hands. Rick and Gary Drayton returned to the swamp the next day, determined to investigate further. They dug deeper into the triangle-shaped area, hoping to find more evidence of human activity. Another stump was unearthed, with clean cuts that indicated tool use, but the surrounding logs were missing. This reinforced the theory that the swamp had been forested and later transformed into what it is today, possibly as part of a grander scheme to hide the treasure. One theory is that the swamp was designed to obscure entrances to tunnels or other features connected to the money pit. Another possibility is that the swamp itself was part of the Templars' or other settlers' efforts to conceal their activities on the island. The deeper the team dug, the clearer it became that this was not just a natural swamp, it was an intentional feature. After digging to a depth of 95 feet, they encountered a 7-foot-wide tunnel that seemed to lead toward what they called the baby blob. Excitement was building as the team prepared to explore the tunnel further. They uncovered wooden pieces that appeared to be part of a structure, possibly one of the wooden platforms historically associated with the money pit. When they used a crowbar to explore beneath the logs, they found what appeared to be a hollow space, suggesting that the tunnel might still be intact and could lead to something significant. The team now plans to extend the shaft and explore the tunnel more thoroughly, knowing they are closer than ever to uncovering the truth about Oak Island. The tree stumps in the swamp are particularly fascinating, as they suggest that the swamp was deliberately flooded or transformed at some point. The presence of round timbers, similar to those found on the wooden platforms, ties this find directly to the original money pit excavations. It is thriving, often hosting events which you can catch updates on via their lively Facebook page. Despite his thriving career at Maury Vineyards, Alex keeps up an exciting sideline as a treasure hunter. There were once whispers claiming that Alex had died while filming an episode of The Curse of Oak Island, which would have been a shocking development in the ongoing saga of the treasure hunt. No one knows where these stories started, but they spread fast through blogs and online articles, falsely reporting that Alex had met his end in pursuit of the island's hidden riches. The old tale about Oak Island claims that 7 lives must be lost before the treasure can be uncovered. So far, 6 have supposedly died, and the story predicted 1 more would have to face the same fate while hunting for the treasure. It's important to note that Alex is alive and doing well. These alarming rumors serve as a reminder of how quickly false information can spread online and how essential it is to check the facts before believing what we read. Despite the dark tales circulated by the web, Alex has continued to achieve his goals without falling prey to these fictional narratives. This situation underscores the importance of careful online behavior and sharing only verified facts to avoid spreading misinformation and confusion. The Curse of Oak Island is a popular show that explores the mysteries of the island's past. The Lagena family, led by Alex, has been a key figure in the show, despite rumors of his supposed death. Their determination and dedication to their quest have been evident in their discoveries on the island. One day, they discovered signs of a tunnel in Smith's Cove uplands, which led them to share the news with their brother Rick and archaeologist Laird Niven. They had stumbled upon a well-made cave that seemed intentionally designed, and Alex had been carefully analyzing the area to confirm its existence. They noted small details, such as a minor misalignment in the cave's structure, suggesting it was built on purpose. This discovery ramped up the team's excitement and reinforced their belief that they were close to uncovering something big. Marty Lagena, driven to show the potential significance of their findings, took the lead in the exploration, focusing on the skilled craftsmanship involved. Together, they worked together to dig deeper into the questions under Smith's Cove uplands, committed to solving the riddle of Oak Island. They found a large timber and another significant round timber close by, with the main beam being particularly notable for its well-crafted structure. A cross-shaped part at the back resembled the timbers from the U-shaped structure they discovered at Smith's Cove last year, which was particularly exciting because scientific analysis suggested that this construction dated back to 1769, more than 20 years before the money pit was first discovered. The wood and the way it was put together seemed real and true to the time, which got the team pumped to dig more. Smith's Cove has been full of surprises, showing up with various unexpected structures and bringing to light a bunch of things we didn't know about before. As they dig deeper, they keep finding signs that suggest there might be a flood tunnel on Oak Island, something that historical records seem to hint at too. Just when they thought they were getting close, a find at Smith's Cove pushed the Lagenas into their biggest dig yet. The excitement of the massive project adds to the excitement of the team's determination, suggests that the settlement was more like a base camp for resource extraction and regrouping, comparing it to setting up camp on the moon. The sagas mention a summer settlement called Hop, south of Newfoundland, which could be in Nova Scotia or even on Oak Island. This is not far from the truth, as butternut seeds were discovered nearby in the L'Anse aux Meadows region, suggesting that the Vikings went much further south than Newfoundland. The nearest place they could have come from is the Nova Scotia-New Brunswick area, suggesting they were on the move. If the Vikings made it to Nova Scotia, it is possible they reached Oak Island. The connections between the Vikings and the Pope are too strong to ignore. The traditional narrative about European arrival in North America is disrupted by the idea that Vikings could have explored and possibly influenced regions like Oak Island. Additionally, the ongoing mystery of Oak Island itself remains incomplete. Marty suggests that if the Vikings traveled as far south as Nova Scotia, there is every reason to believe they could have reached Oak Island. If they were moving down the Atlantic coast, stopping at places rich in resources, Oak Island might have been a perfect spot for a pit stop or more significant settlement. The question is not just whether they visited, but what they might have left behind. Doug introduces a fascinating tidbit that changes the whole narrative. The sagas mention Norse interactions with the Pope. The Norse were known to interact with European powers, and the Catholic Church, with its influence and reach, often played a central role in exploration and land claims. If the Pope and the Norse had a connection, it is not unreasonable to think the Vikings could have been part of a larger operation involving the Knights Templar. On Oak Island, traces of European activity dating back to the 13th century make the timeline more cohesive. Many of the sagas and records from this time are tied to the Catholic Church, which was not just a spiritual power, but also deeply political, and had a vested interest in expanding its influence westward. If the Norse were working under or alongside the Church, their travels to places like Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, or even Oak Island could have been part of a larger plan. The team at Lonso Meadows is exploring the possibility of connecting medieval Vikings to Oak Island, a North American mystery. They met Ragnar, a blacksmith trained in Viking-era techniques, who provided technical expertise on tools and materials from the Viking Age. Mark, a metallurgist with 25 years of experience, helped frame the question at hand. Could the Vikings have left artifacts or signs on Oak Island? Doug introduced an artifact that was first uncovered during a dig back in 1960.